All right, I'm going to have you blow into this breathalyzer. Blow really hard. Give it all you got. Oh my God!
What did I pass?
You shouldn't even be alive. You blew a 666.
Wow, is that a pass? Did I win?
Mother, man.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Appreciate you being here. We are in Horns High Studios, one of the other rooms other than the studio, of course. But looking forward to doing this one, and happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. But this is a 666 seconds of murder. So this video will be less than 666 seconds or 11 minutes and 6 seconds, or it's free. So hang on for a true crime white knuckle trip with me today. And yeah, special shout out to the dads out there and anyone who acts in that capacity, because the father is either not in the lives of the kids or other reasons. And such as, single moms, grandparents, raising grandkids, and all the above. I'm a dad and a grandfather, and it's the most wonderful thing, in my opinion. So hats off to all of you. Today, I'm wearing another band shirt, this one from Phoenix, Arizona, and it's the thrash metal band Insight. So check this one out. I like this shirt. Now, do me a favor and like this video real quick. If you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing before you go. It's a free way to help the channel out. I do appreciate it. Now, since I've been following the Idaho 4 case, the 911 call was something that really bothered me. Why did we get to hear it? I mean, in just about every other modern true crime case that I've ever followed, the anchor of the case, so to speak, is the 911 call. This is where we get to hear, the suspect in most cases and what they sound like on the phone. And if it's a case, where they actually were the ones to call it in. As we all know, the person who typically finds a body is the one that calls 911, and then that seems to make them more likely as a suspect, especially if they're a partner or ex-partner of one of the victims. Now, the 911 call comes off as very fake in this Idaho 4 story to most people, and me included, honestly. Even if, we have people out there that don't follow the black helicopter way of thinking, they can even sense that there's something that's not right here. There's some smoke, and as they say, when there's smoke, there's usually some fire. Now, I'd like to talk about what that 8-hour delay, was about, maybe, in calling 911. Now, we've all wondered, what could they have been doing the entire 8 hours? Now, we know from court docs that at least some of the conversations that were going on here with text messages and instant, social media and all of that, show that there was quite a bit of activity going on. And what blew the minds of most people is that they were not frozen in shock during this time. They were wide awake, conversing with themselves and then others outside the house. I mean, they were blowing people's phones up with messages and images from the scene, we assume, and that is beyond messed up. And there appears to be someone helping them and directing the actions that followed. Allegedly, of course. Now, I think 1122 King Road had to be buzzing with activity from the time the crime stopped until noon the next day when 911 was called. That's a lot of time. I mean, think about it. It's like a typical work shift or a school day or like watching 3 Major League Baseball games one after the other. That's a long time. And the more I think about the 8-hour delay, the more I believe there was some other reason behind it. I've heard the rumors that they were removing party favors from the house before calling police. But I mean, this should not have taken that much time at all. I mean, it's not like they had Walter White operations going on there at the house with a major cleanup that would have been required. This was likely something that could be stuffed into a backpack, if that stuff was really there. I mean, my guess is that it was in pill form and it would take moments to get that out of the house. So, not really buying that so much. So what were they doing for all of that time? Well, I wonder if it means that one or more of the victims could have still been alive and that they were waiting for them to pass on. I mean, think about that. If they had called 911 with one or more of them alive, then there would have been a chance for some names to maybe be mentioned. Chances are some of those in attendance that morning could have been implicated somehow. Allegedly, of course. Now, from the sound of the wounds that we've heard so far, it doesn't sound like the type of thing that anyone would even be able to survive. But we don't know for sure due to this ridiculous gag order that's going on. Just like the 911 recordings, the wounds of the victims and a description of the type of weapons that were involved, you know, this stuff would all be in public, out in the public. I mean, we pay for those services with tax dollars, which means we have every right to hear it. But remember, this is the Idaho 4, and it's like Alice in Wonderland and Children of the Corn meets The Sopranos. It's insane. And if they had one or more victims hanging on, that would explain what they were waiting for. I can't imagine they would have considered how bad it would look to wait that long. So it just blows my mind that they would have let that go for that long. Now, the obvious victim that might have been, you know, the last one to pass on would be Xana. And that's because she was the alleged basis for the 911 call to start with, claiming that she was passed out from drinking all night. To imagine waiting until noon to try and wake up a friend who had passed out for the night before sounds a little crazy to me. Is that what they called Hunter Johnson to the scene for? That's what many people speculate. If you ask me, he was there much earlier than noon. Remember, this is the guy who was always there when the police body cam showed up. He is ever present for some reason. If you ask me, he was keeping an eye out on the party favors and the money that it generates. Remember how many bank accounts these victims had. He may have been there to account for what was going on, what was coming in, what was going out, and that it was properly being accounted for. Again, allegedly. Now, the information that came out from the court docs about Hunter grabbing a knife from the kitchen after he went upstairs, but before he went into Xana's room, is a little strange. I mean, I believe he already knew what was in that room, especially if he had been there earlier. Still, though, why the knife? I mean, who was he suspecting was going to be in that room? Now, if she still was alive, then that might explain the knife as a means to putting an end to it all. I don't see any other reason for him to go for the knife before entering. It's a horrifying thought. Now, how could someone do that to a person that they knew is just absolutely beyond me? Of course, this is just speculation and not an accusation at all. This is just talking about the facts and trying to make some sense to tell a story that seems to be credible and make sense. But in this Idaho 4 stuff, that's virtually impossible. Now, if you listen closely to the 911 call that they released, you can hear some whispering that sounds like she won't let go or she's hanging on or something like that. And then there's a more audible whisper that says, "Poor Kaylee." And that is weird, considering at that point, They had not gone into Kaylee and Maddie's room yet, if you believe this 911 call. So if anyone was still alive after the attack, then it's likely that calling 911 immediately would have at least given them the chance to stay alive. And leaving them on the floor and bleeding out sure as hell didn't do that. If that ends up being true, I would hope that the state of Idaho would charge them with those offenses. And I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. So leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are about it. And if you like reading dark and creepy, weird stuff, short stories and novels, horror, suspense, then check out my website, PeteAltieri.com. I got a bookstore. I got a page where you could read an excerpt from each one of my books to see if it's something that you might like. We'll not be doing a live this weekend, as I mentioned, because it's Father's Day weekend. Give your ears a little bit of a break, but I did want to get this video out to you today. Big thanks to the members of the Horns High Club for your support. I sure appreciate you guys very, very much. And I appreciate everybody that watches these videos with me. Become a member of the Horns High Club for only $1.99 a month. And coming soon, the Mayhem Squad. That's going to be a new tier to the membership. I know I said I might try to get it out this last week. I will get it out this week for sure, because I want to get that set up. Big salute to the fathers out there again. Those who live up to that tremendous responsibility deserve a day of recognition. Please don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave that comment, and I'll see you next time.